and welcome to Immigration New Zealand.
Hi guys, Jess here again. As you can see, this background looks strangely familiar. You might have seen this background in my previous video, link up the top there. That's because I am still in Melbourne.
So sad.
Story time. Let me tell you guys what happened. So on Saturday, I packed all my bags, got a friend to send me to the airport, and I arrived, 3 hours before the flight. Anyway, I was lining up at the airport, and a member from the Australian Border Force comes to the line and asks, "Are there any Australian citizens or residents in this line?" And being a permanent resident of Australia, I put up my hand, and she asked, "Do you have an exemption to travel out of Australia?" I could feel the palpitations happening, and I was like, no. And she's like, "Step out of the line, please." And that's when you know you're stuffed. She said that according to the Department of Home Affairs, all citizens and residents of Australia have to apply for an exemption to travel out of Australia. Thanks COVID. And I did not know any of this information. Anywho, there's a link there. She said if you apply right now, they'll try to push it through before the flight. And so I was like, okay, you know what? Let's just get it done. And I got my exemption in 10 minutes. Done. Settled.
Wrong.
I was ushered back into the check-in line by the very kind New Zealand airline person, and she asked me this question: have you applied for a border exemption permit into New Zealand? I looked at her and I said, I'm pretty sure I did not.
Hiya.
Anyway, she said, it's okay, stay at the line, we'll try to work it out. The check-in crew lady said, all right, I'll give a call to the Australian immigration and also the New Zealand immigration. And she called the Australian immigration side and they were happy for me to leave Australia, all good. But as she called the New Zealand side, they were like, nah, you need a border exemption pass. So I asked them, I was hopeful, I said, if I apply right now, can I fly today? And she was like, nope, not going to happen today.
I have a permit. This just says I can do what I want.
I am not ashamed to say this because it happened. I cried at the check-in counter. It was not a pretty sight, but thankfully I had a mask so no one could see the snot coming out of my nose. Yeah, it was gross. Super gross. Had to step out of the check-in line, sat down at the seats in the waiting area. This is where I am very grateful for friends. One of them offered to take me back from the airport, and my housemate called me and she was like, "Oh, are you okay, Jess?" And I said, "No, I'm not." And she said, "You sound teary." I'm like, "Yes, that's because I've been crying." Yes. So that happened, and I'm grateful for Air New Zealand who allowed me to get a full credit for the flight that I cancelled last minute, and I'm able to put that towards a new flight in the future. My work starts on the 12th of April. So I am under an extreme time pressure at the moment. I submitted an expression of interest to get a border exemption pass. That came back within 48 hours, which I was really impressed by. So I submitted my visa application as well. So I'm hoping to hear back, hopefully within the next 2 to 3 days. I'm very hopeful, we will see. And then after that, I would have to apply for an emergency allocation spot. Really praying and hoping that they would accept my emergency allocation request and I'll be able to fly out next week. I wanted to end this video on a hopeful and thankful note. I thank you for all the well wishes and kind comments and good thoughts. I really appreciate each one of them. And I really appreciate each one of you. I am also thankful that I get to celebrate my sister's birthday and a friend's birthday this weekend. And that would not have been possible if I was in quarantine. So I'm taking that as a grateful note. And last of all, I know that there's still quite a lot of things to be done in terms of getting approval and flying over to New Zealand. But at the moment, this situation is out of my hands, and I believe in a big God that works for my good. And I know I'll be okay no matter what. I think it's just surrendering everything to Him and hoping for the best. So yeah, I wanted to provide you with a little update. I hope to come back with another video with good news, but for now, I invite you to hope and pray along with me as we get everything sorted in time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye! Look at this. This is Larry. Stress pimple.